Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm one of those people who lives by her Google Calendar, and I would feel lost without a planning system, so I really get down to it and plan every single detail almost of my life. And you guys have asked for an in-depth tutorial on how I use Google Calendar and Asana and all of the ways that I just plan my life and my business, so I thought today would be the day that I share with you guys all of the ways that I plan and organize my life. And also thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. The main and most foundational way that I plan my life is through my Google Calendar. So I use a lot of Google applications, and Google Calendar is just my main way to keep track of my schedule, appointments, everything that goes into my calendar, all of the time blocking. It's in Google Calendar. I'm gonna start out by showing you Google Calendar, and I'm gonna show you the next week. So with my Google Calendar, I will time block. So I put in everything that I need to do at the exact hour and time that it will take. So for me, my weekly schedule will be Mondays are my weekly reset. During this plan and tasks time, this is when I will put in everything that I need to do in my Google Calendar. So if I find out what videos from Asana that I'm going to be doing on Friday or something like that, I will put in everything that I need to film in the calendar for the hours that it's allotted. For Mondays, these are my weekly resets, and I even put this on every Monday so that I can have it on here and I know on these days, this is when I like to clean, I like to get my shit together, I like to plan, do my tasks, I grocery shop, and I also film my Sims video and record my podcast because I like to get those out of the way because they're not involving me being on camera, they're just things that I need to record. Tuesdays are when podcasts go up, and these are the days that I also film, so pretty much Tuesday through Thursday is when I'm filming, which this week isn't obviously filled out yet. And as you can see, there's like a chunk of time here. That's because I haven't finished filling it in, but also I like to take 1 to 3 p.m. I'm really honest with myself, and I take a break during that time. I just regroup and refresh to get through the second half of the day of what I have to do. So as you can see on Thursday, I have a podcast interview, and Thursdays are the days that I take care of all podcast interview stuff. So I'll fit in some editing, all of that, but mainly I get all of my podcast stuff with interview-wise done on Thursdays because I get anxiety doing podcast interviews. So I like to do as many as I can on one day and don't let it affect the rest of my week. So I know myself, and I like to just knock them all out on the same day. It makes sense to me. It's easier to focus on a specific theme for each day. I have a private Acuity link that I send to all of my podcast guests, and that way they can pick the date and time that works best for them. So they put in their time, they set their time zone, and then they can see all my available dates. You can see I'm booked up for August, but if we were to go to September, they can see that all these Thursdays are open. They pick the date, and then they pick the time slot that works for them, and it's automatically an hour. So that is how I put things in my calendar that are meetings. I have people usually just schedule them with my link, and it'll automatically go in my calendar, and that is taken care of. Then I also have color coding system, which I wanted to mention. So as you can see, I have tons of different colors here. One is the schedule. These are things that don't have a general theme. They're just in my calendar. They are a part of the schedule, and they just have to get done. So here's a doctor's appointment. Everything that is just pretty much just the basis of my life goes in this color. Then we have blog, which is pink. I don't have anything going on right now because I did take a hiatus from the blog because I have so much else to focus on with school coming up, so that's not on there. Instagram is in this light brown color, which is this you can see here. Then we have podcasts, which is in the yellow color. School, because school hasn't started yet, it's not on there, but it's in a light green color, and everything relating to school will be with that color. Selfish. Now, these are things that are solely for me. They're just beneficial to me. They apply to bettering myself, leveling up, and that's usually my morning routine. Again, with time blocking, I like to put in when I'm sleeping and when I'm doing my morning routine, and I can always see where my time is going and how I'm spending my time. So I sleep every day. I do my morning routine every day. So I do put that in the calendar as well. But selfish, yeah, these are things just for me. Obviously, I don't have a lot going on here right now because that's just not the priority of the week. But usually I will schedule in like reading, or my workouts will be in this selfish color. Back when we were able to go to studios, I would schedule my workouts in my calendar, and I would like to do them during the afternoon as like my midday break. And I would schedule that in this green color. But because, we aren't able to do that with coronavirus, I do just put my workout in my morning routine, and it's not on my calendar separately. But normally I would be scheduling in my workouts in my calendar. That way It's always accounted for. I know exactly when I'm gonna do it. I don't have to think about it, and it's just in the calendar. The next color is social, and these are when I go hang out with friends, if I have, a lunch date or a coffee date or something planned. Now, I usually don't mark anything in my calendar because I just hang out with a set group of friends on Saturdays and Sundays, so we don't put anything in the calendar. But if I was gonna meet with someone to go out for a hike or grab some coffee and it was just not one of my regular friends that I see all the time, I will put this in social. So if I have dinner plans, I'll put it in social on my calendar. And then lastly, we have this brown color, which is work, and that is just pertaining to my YouTube work. So everything relating to that is in this color. And as you can see, everything is broken down into color because then I can look at my week and kind of see where my time's going, see where my priorities are lying, and it's just easier to look at when there's multiple colors. Skillshare is my go-to online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for any lifelong learner that's really looking to take the next step in their creative journey. And the topics they cover range from creativity to entrepreneurship, business, design. There's really so much, and there's something for any skill that you're trying to level up. I categorize all of my saved classes into different folders, and currently I'm on a design kick, so I'm watching the course on Styling Your Space Interior Design by Emily Henderson. And you guys know that I can't recommend Skillshare enough since it is less than $10 a month. If you want to get the most out of Skillshare, the first 500 people to sign up using the link in my description will get their first 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free. Now, for content organization, this is how I create all my content for YouTube, my podcast, Instagram, all of that stuff. It's very important to me to kind of have a schedule ahead of time, a workflow that I can go off of, video ideas already prepped ahead of time, and everything written out. So I do all of that on Asana. I recently transferred to Asana to do all of my content creation planning, and believe me, it's the best way to manage projects. Even if you have a team, if it's just you, the best way to manage your projects. And it's also free because I do use the free version of it, but you can, I guess, pay for it for other features. But for everything that I need, I can get away with it on the free version. Now, for my content organization, it's essential that I plan things in advance. I have my video outlines ready, podcast outlines. I have a general flow of what I'm gonna do every week, and that is why planning my content ahead of time is just so important to me. So what I will do, I will show you this more in depth on Asana, but every quarter I will go through and write out the video titles that I wanna do for the entire quarter. I won't go into depth, I won't write the outlines, I won't even flesh out the details. I will just write the title of the video that I'm planning on doing on its respective date in the quarter. And that way I'll also look for brands that I think work well with what I'm doing. So let's say I am doing a healthy habits video and I'm like, okay, I want to reach out to this brand because I know that this is already in my healthy habits and I think it would be a seamless fit. And then for every month, I will go in and flesh out the details, write the script of every video in that month. And I do this all on Asana, like I said, so I'm gonna go into depth showing you how I do that. All of my projects, my content, just basically where I keep all of my life, and that is Asana. So these are all of my workspace projects. So manifestation is the first thing on here. It doesn't have to do with organizing my life, but in a way it does because this is my vision board. Now, I used to make a vision board, the hard copy version. It wasn't working for me, so now I have it somewhere that I'm always looking. I'm always on Asana looking at what content I'm going to make. So I have my vision board right here with just all of my stuff that I can see, and I can kind of look at the vibes whenever I need a little motivation, and that's there. And then with YouTube content, this is amazing because it can be in you could see it in different ways. As you can see here, like I mentioned, at the beginning of the quarter, I will go in and plan all of my content ideas. So I will just write a bunch of titles and things that I want to do. So content idea number 1, and I'll just put them all in here. And then I go through and plan what slot and what month they'll go in. So I want this one video to go in July, even though we're pretty much out of July. Once I've planned out these 3 titles and stuff like that, I will go into the calendar and then more specifically put the dates for each of the videos. So everything will have its specific dates, and then I will go back, and now that I know everything that I'm doing for the next 3 months, then I will go in, and once things are scripted, and as they're scripted, they will be put in here, which is the scripted column. So I have usually the tag template, the description, and then the actual script of the video is in my Google Calendar, which I will talk more about in a little bit. But once it's scripted, it goes in here. So kind of I have a workflow so that I know how things are supposed to go. So now this is pretty much filmed and ready to edit because I'm just doing the voiceovers now, but that will go in there. And then once this is edited, everything's done, I will need to do the SEO, which I already did. I skipped a step. I kind of did it out of order. And then once it's uploaded, we move it here, we check it complete, and bam. And then Q4, I just already was planning a little bit ahead. I like to plan out all these videos and then I can see what fits in. So like what sponsor fits into what video. And I don't like to do every video sponsored. Obviously, that's just it's not realistic. It's not a good vibe. But when I do find a brand that I think works perfectly with a certain video, I will put it in that. And that way I know ahead of time for each quarter what I'm really going to be doing sponsorship wise, video wise, all of that. So as you can see now, I just put Friday's regular video and Sims video on Sunday. I don't put the title, I don't put anything because it was just too much on the calendar. And I do upload sometimes on Wednesdays, but I don't promise that because I know myself. Sometimes my work ethic is trash and it doesn't happen, but it's there just in case. That is everything for how I plan my YouTube content. And then moving on to podcast content. So essentially I do the exact same thing. I will plan, because I upload on Tuesdays, I will have all of the podcast episodes where they're supposed to go. And again, I have the same thing going with the board flow. So we have the content ideas, where it's supposed to go in its months, and then what's scripted, what's recorded and ready to edit, and then what's uploaded. It's again the same type of workflow and it just works the best for me. So if you are more of a visual person and you like to see it like this, I would highly recommend that you try Asana because this just works so well for me and it's the only thing that's been kind of sticking because I've tried so many different ways to organize stuff and this is the best way to organize my content. Then with Instagram content, it's not crazy. I literally just started this whole thing and this kind of flow a few weeks ago. So this is very new, but I like to have inspo photos. So I'll be like, okay, I want to do a drinking matcha photo. I kind of want to do it that vibe. And like I basically take the essence of the photo and I'm like, okay, I want to do something similar. So then I can plan them throughout the calendar and then I can go on my Unum app and see how everything flows. And as you can see, I'm very behind on my Instagram photos. None of these are up. So yeah, Instagram I'm very terrible at, but I'm trying to do this flow. And then I will batch content for Instagram on a certain day. So let's say I was going to take a bunch of Instagram photos, like maybe all of these for this week on Friday, tomorrow. So that's essentially where and how I plan Instagram. And then I use Unum to kind of see how it will flow once I take the pictures. And then to-do lists, this is just everything that is on each of these boards. It's just also on here as a to-do list. But I also do have a regular to-do list here. Now you can see I have subtasks within each task because again, things can't be completed in one task. There's multiple steps to completing projects. So I have my current goals, personal, Instagram, YouTube, podcast. Everything is in this major to-do list. So I can always know what I need to do. And also, I don't mean to jump back and forth, but when I was showing you my Google Calendar, I forgot to mention that if you click right here, Google Keep is also right there. And this is where I essentially keep my to-do list. So that way, when I'm planning out my calendar, I can take things from here and make them actionable by putting them in a time slot. Now that is how I manage my YouTube and podcast content. I also do have my Instagram content planned out on there, which I showed you guys, but something that I use to help me schedule and see how my feed is gonna look is Unum. You can use the app Planoly, but they're both two really good apps that help you plan out your entire feed, see if everything's cohesive. You can also schedule posts. You can draft up your captions ahead of time. I'm someone who struggles with Instagram, so it is essential that I get all the help I can get, and that is why I like planning ahead of time on Unum. And I'm very disciplined with my podcast Instagram. I think that's where I utilize Unum the best. So it just helps me find how my photos are gonna look together. It also makes it easier on those apps if you draft up your captions ahead of time. So let's say at the beginning of the week, you know you're gonna post 4 photos. It will be easier for you if you just write out the captions for all 4 photos on Sunday night. When you're motivated, you're already in the grind of writing out captions, you will get more captions that hit your audience better and are what you wanna truly show off on your social media, you can have the time to write out a caption instead of doing it like on the spot. These are tips that I am recently implementing for Instagram. So I am trying my best to get my Instagram on and poppin', but that's how I plan all of my content for YouTube, my podcast, and Instagram. Now, the other way that I plan and organize my life is through my phone. And we are on our phones daily, all the time, so much, so why not use it to our advantage? So for me, I utilize the Reminders app and the Notes app. So for my reminders, this is usually just things that are scheduled, that are repetitive for a date and time. So if I have to take antibiotics for a week, I'll put it in my reminders to remind me every day at 8 p.m. take my antibiotic or apply my eczema cream. It's stuff that is repetitive, doesn't need to go in the Google Calendar, but it's something I want to be reminded of. Then I also use the Notes app to have stuff go. All of this again is available on all of my devices because I use Google and Apple applications. So with Notes, I can see it on my iPad, on my laptop. So my notes are pretty much everywhere. And this is where I write my grocery lists, or I have recipes, or my schedules. So with my weekly reset, I will write what that consists of in the notes. That way I can look at it on my computer, on my phone, wherever. Same with my grocery list. And also I like to write out my morning routine in there. This is just essentially where I just keep a bunch of information that I want to have ready available. So it's just quick, it's easy, it's on all my devices, and it's stuff that I really want to remember. Now moving on to planning that isn't digital at all. Now we're moving on to my menu, meal prep, meal plan, the whole thing for the week. So with my groceries, I like to make a companion menu. So I like to buy ingredients that I can make multiple things with. I am really bad at figuring out what to eat. So that is why I've recently started doing a thing where I'll make a menu for the week where I can pick from 2 to 3 recipes that I can make for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that way I have variety throughout the week. They kind of have similar ingredients because I'll make a grocery list that goes with it. And that way I'm really being efficient with my groceries. And lastly, I wanted to just touch on how I organize myself for college, which I actually didn't want to fully do in this video because there is so much to organizing my notes and schoolwork and the calendar and all of that. So I wanted to make a separate video just dedicated to how I organize myself for college. And if you guys want to see that video, be sure to comment below, let me know. Give this video a thumbs up. Just let me know if you guys want to see a whole video dedicated to college organization or school organization. For now, that is all of the ways that I plan and organize my life. I hope you found a little bit of value from this. And if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And while you're here, be sure to check out my last 2 videos, and I will see you guys next Friday. Bye.